Right, it's on. We should be here now. Yes.
Are we getting anything through?
Yes.
Is anything working tonight?
There you are. The speakers are on.
Right, so...
Oh my goodness. Everything is a mess tonight. I hope everyone is fine. As we were saying,
A Monday club is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is it early. It arrives precisely when it means to.
So, I was just going through the big hellos. There's me happily reading people's names. Yeah, there's a bit of buzz. Billy's replacement speakers has been at work. Excuse me. So, we've got you guys typing so quick. I've just name checked everybody. Now I've got to do it again. Whoa. Spongate Junction, Flymer Chairman 1, Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath, Norman Rowe, Mousehole Rail, Andrew Bewdley Junction, Martin de Jong, Kevin Waters, Harry Sedgwick, Evan Terry, Dean Fielding, Phil Metcalf, Charlie McGowan's Partick Hill Station, Clive Cobold, Nick at Blackton High Level, David, It's My Model Railway, Mark Wilson, no, my bargains, SHGB Media. Whatever you do, don't touch that. There's an issue with the power cable. If for some
reason isn't the sound. It's over there.
No, that's not it. That buzzing is a poor collection on the power. We need a new power for the mixing desk because that one, for some reason, is not working properly.
Enough. Jenny, do we have a sponsor today?
We do.
Shall I?
Yeah, we're
power
actually
up the super sponsor.
We were supposed to be super slick tonight. The Monday Club comes in association with Roca Prototype Models, where detail, accuracy and value for money go hand in hand. With their debut model of SafePack auto racks wowing model railroaders alike, now is your chance to order these in road names and configurations to accurately reproduce auto rack workings from 1974 to the present day on your model railroad. Order today from rocamodels.com and see the full range for yourself.
And there we are.
So, big hello to you guys. That is going to get thrown down the stairs.
Oh, I see. Right, hang on.
So, are we actually... So
we are on, yeah.
Right, so...
The buzzing was the speaker, was still plugged in.
Yeah. Right, so, as you can tell, we were trying to put in some production values, and it's all gone wrong today.
We do have production values, they're just not...
Yeah, they're
always
on holiday at the moment.
Yeah, so here we are. So, Jen, what's the topic for tonight?
It's supposed to be Bluetooth. Is it the future of DCC? And I was going to do a big thing about this. But in all of the stress of trying to get on air, my brain has expunged itself of all of the details I was going to talk to you about. I've done a load of research about Bluetooth, and it's really about the all-new system that Hornby has announced in their 2023 announcements. And this is the Bluetooth range of decoders, and these appear to be the like-for-like replacements for pretty much their entire decoder range. So gone are the standard 8-pin, and they did actually do a 21-pin, although very hard to find, and the 6-pin decoders. And these appear to be being all replaced with the TXS and the standard Bluetooth decoders. And it's an interesting move from Hornby, and it caught everybody very much off guard when the announcements came. Now, I know a few people had been leaking the Hornby announcements because they thought it would build the audience of their channel by releasing it in the thumbnails, but we stuck to the embargo.
You were a good girl.
Yeah, but the Bluetooth actually didn't appear to have leaked out. It's quite...
it's probably for the best if your Bluetooth doesn't leak.
Yes.
You don't want leaky blue teeth.
So, Bluetooth, basically better known as the protocol which allows principally mobile phones to communicate two-way with things like headphones, with speakers, and also with your car. If you've got a hands-free, that's working on Bluetooth. And it's an interesting application of technology that was never really designed with this in mind, but it would appear perfectly suited for it. Now, last year, Soundtracks over in the US announced their Bluenami range of sound decoders. They are actually on the market, but they're sound only. And at the moment, they only have a suite of US outline sounds. But they are looking at doing UK outline sounds. I've actually been speaking to George Bogota at Soundtracks, so big up to George at the Soundtracks posse. And it is really interesting, the whole new system. They launched it with a lot of interest in the States. And it would appear that they can't make them fast enough, which says to me that actually, basically, this is going to actually probably be the shot in the arm that Hornby needs. Now, beating around the bush...
You don't need to get shot in the arm. What are you on about? That would for surely slow you down, not speed you up.
No, it's the HM7000, Richard Swiderski, yeah, definitely. And it's really, really interesting. But I think it's going to be exactly what Hornby need. For a great many years, it's not beat around the bush. Financially, they have struggled. And given that Soundtrack's experience of, even just in a short space of time, launching Bluenami to the market, has been that it is incredibly successful. People really do want this system. I think it's actually very good for Hornby if they can get the product to the market, and that's the big if, buts and maybes. I know we've struggled with processors, and that's going to be the big question mark. Can they get enough processors to actually get enough of these products to market? Big hello, Paul Murphy, Southern Train Girl, J94, Warbler Productions has already spotted the TARDIS. Says TARDIS at the end of the left-hand rake of wagons in Goodyear. Goodyear, absolutely. So well done you, sharpen all the pencils, go to the top of the class. Larry Rogers says Lionel Bluetooth works very well. I can operate equipped locomotives with both phone and tablet. Grandkids love that interface. And
I bet they do, and that's, for me, is key for this.
Absolutely. It's ease of use.
It's easy to use, and it's also something that the kids already are familiar with. There's none of that initial thing. You know when you first see something new, it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to touch it. I better not mess about because I don't want to break it. It's expensive and I don't want to break it. A Bluetooth interface on a smartphone, the kid already knows the smartphone.
Oh, yeah.
They know their way around that. They are not frightened of that at all.
Yeah, under the age of 15, kids know tech. After that, they turn into adults.
And that's the thing. Adults nowadays also know smartphones.
There is that. But, let's just, as an example, here's two different, very common DCC control systems. So, I've got the NCE, and I've got the Gauge Master, which is a rebadged TCS system. And you're forever referring to the manual to do anything slightly more complex. But with an app-based touchscreen interface, it's something that's much more intuitive to a lot of people. And it can easily be updated without you having to mess about. You try. How do you update the firmware on one of these? I suspect it can be done. Not sure how. But you know what I mean. It's something that's really difficult to do. DJK666 says, doesn't mean they grow up. Look at me, for instance. Nick at Bleshton High Level says, no brainer. Today's kids love tablets and pads. So bring them in and you have a fresh audience. Absolutely. And it's something that I've seen usually older modelers poo-poo this. Is like, oh, it's just a gimmick. It's not how we do things. And they said the same about DCC when that first done. I remember the same old tired arguments about DCC being like, oh, it'll never catch on. Why do we need this? Oh, this is just complexity. And the thing is, model trains are something that they're losing out to things like computers, consoles, mobile phones. That's where the kids are going, and I'm afraid the hobby will die if you don't bring them in. This is a perfect way of actually helping to bring them in. DCC did a lot, but this, for me, is definitely the next progression. So let's see what people think. Jerry BVR says, Jenny, would the NCE or similar still control the Hornby fitted locos? I do know the answer to this. The answer is yes. They still function as a standard DCC decoder. And what that means is that you can still read and write the CVs on your ordinary DCC legacy system. I'm calling it legacy. This is like the NCE power camp. This is the Rolls Royce here, man. But you can still, run them and use them exactly as per you've been doing with all your other decoders.
My biggest issue, Will, with this DCC stuff is I already know that my phone and my computer can only have so many connections via Bluetooth.
Right.
How many locomotives can you run with one of these systems?
Again, apparently you can run multiple. I've not had the precise number.
And that's what's holding me back from saying it's the future. I don't know how many you can run. Do you think you would need more than one to DCC bus, not DCC bus, Bluetooth bus, to run everything on Weir Yard here?
But the thing is, for example, NCE is actually quite generous. NCE can have 6 locomotives in what they call the stack. The stack is essentially the scrollable list of different locomotives that you can just hit recall and go back to, and it tells you the settings that you last set for that locomotive, and tells you what speed it's doing, blah 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 blah. But if you go beyond that, so Weir Yard has 7 running. The stack in this can only accommodate 6.
Right.
That doesn't mean that 7th locomotive just stops as soon as you go back to the first one.
Of course, I'm thinking of it from the point of view of like a Bluetooth headset or Bluetooth mouse.
The thing about
it doesn't need to be connected all the time.
Mark Netherwood says, I think the maximum number of Bluetooth connections is actually 7 per device. Yeah, and New Junction, big hello to you. You can run endless chips with this system. The more you have, the better it is. And it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is the same with your legacy DCC systems. You keep putting loco numbers in, you set them running, and they will continue to do the last thing you told them to do. They actually don't need input. As long as they've got track power, they will happily do the last thing you told them to do forever and a day. You don't actually need to be connected to it, and I suspect there's an aspect of that in play. So there's nothing that we don't already have in DCC that Bluetooth can't do in that respect. Ben Whitehouse says, hi Jenny, if you already have an NCE and other decoders, will you be able to control the other decoders using the HM7000? Now there is what Hornby are calling a legacy dongle, and this plugs into, I think it's the RJ12 socket. I'm still trying to get some information on whether this will definitely not work with I think it's ExpressNet bus controllers, but certainly things like the Z21 and the Hornby Elite, you can plug this in, and effectively what it does is it acts as the interface between Bluetooth and your regular DCC system. So you can on your phone tell it, this locomotive, blah blah blah, do this. It sends that signal via Bluetooth to the legacy dongle, which puts that command onto the bus, and your regular locomotive does its thing. Likewise, if you want to send the information back, it will go the other way on Bluetooth. The legacy dongle will then communicate whatever it needs to.
You love a legacy dongle.
I do, actually. So, really looking forward to this. We're expecting delivery. Hornby has said from the end of... I just seen one of the comments there. Russell Benton says, I can't even get in contact with my Bluetooth printer. Yeah, anybody who's had connection issues with Bluetooth
printer... Oh, that's actually interesting. What if your railway is near your microwave?
I don't know. Does microwaves do a special thing with Bluetooth? I suppose.
They put out Wi-Fi as well.
I suppose. Don't microwave whilst you're trying to run trains. There we are. But Nigel Cole says Bluetooth control sounds good to me. I'm inspired by Hornby's Blue Skies thinking. There are a couple of Bluetooth systems already on the market over in the States doing really quite well. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier on, that essentially the kids would love this sort of thing. And actually a lot of adults who are very open to the idea of DCC will probably find this very intuitive and such like. Raymond Legg says, "Did you call me a legacy dongle?" I saw a sign today. I was driving back from Bristol, and it said National Tool Hire, and all I could think of was a picture of a certain troll holding a sign saying "Will work for cash." Oh, one moment, everything's gone. Oh look, Jenny's not paying attention. She can. Oh, why has that done that? It's done its special thing. So there we are, fixed it. I think that it's going to be a runaway success. That's my gut feeling, and I know some people have poo-pooed it, and they're probably the same people who poo-pooed DCC. But I think that this is the shot in the arm that Hornby need, and it's interesting to note that in their statement to shareholders, it was actually this was the new release that they made the big thing about. They didn't actually mention any of the others, and I think, even though the share price did drop, don't read too much into that, I think that this is the future. So over to you guys. What do you think? DJK666 says, "I might gronk it up at a Bluetooth decoder with adding gronking sounds." And that's an interesting point. You could also send sounds to a Bluetooth speaker. And I must actually ask Simon about this, whether you could do, I know that Broadway Limited, the Paragon sound decoders, have what they call Rolling Thunder, that has like a separate speaker that the sound is transmitted to, as well as the locomotive, so you get a real bassy sound. And I wonder, could this system incorporate Bluetooth speakers? Now that is an interesting thought. Darren Faulkner says, "There's a view I didn't expect on Monday night." Sorry, did I just flash my knickers at you guys? I didn't mean to. Richard Swiderski says, "We'll definitely try it." Ivor Junction says, "Think I will wait and see how successful it is before I go ahead with it." It is an interesting point. Somebody did ask earlier on, are things like the Blunami decoders something that would be compatible with the Hornby system? I don't know, but I know that Soundtracks are sending over a Blunami decoder for me to have a try with, and hopefully Hornby will be sending some stuff for review as well. And one of the things I actually really want to do is just see, will the two systems talk to each other in some degree? So will the tablet, the iPhone app for the Blunami also let you talk to the Hornby TXS decoders? Or will the Hornby app let you control the Blunami decoder? Now it's using Bluetooth, so if they're using a standard protocol, just like with DCC, after all, the whole point of DCC is that any control system should be able to talk to and control any brand of decoder. Timbersurf says, "TTS was rubbish on Steam Loco, says you could not sync the sound to the wheels. Does TXS allow you to do this?" Now, I've seen a long-winded reply from Hornby Tech about this, and when you boiled it down, what they're saying is that you have to really play with the CVs, and no, but that may well be something that will come in the future. So what we might be looking at is, and there's actually provision, and I'll just point this out, there is provision in the DCC spec for what they call Hall sensors. Now a Hall sensor is essentially a thing that detects a change in magnetic field. So you have a tiny neodymium magnet, and you can buy these actually from people like DCC Concepts, sell big packs of them. And if you had a tiny neodymium magnet hidden behind one of the locomotive wheels, and then you have a hall sensor which is plugged through the appropriate pin on the socket to the decoder. What that will do is every time that wheel rotates, that's sending a data stream to the decoder. So it's like 1, 2, 3. And that means that all of a sudden your decoder knows exactly how fast the loco's doing, or how fast the physical on-rail speed is, and can adjust the sound and the chuff rate to match perfectly, regardless of what you do. You can stall out the locomotive, and it will, even though you're damaging your decoder potentially, it'll still adjust that chuff rate to show it's stalled. Big hello to GWR Buckley Junction. We've also got B2000RO Toys Channel says, hi Jenny and Zoe. I've finally got round to 3D printing my own Gauge 1 locomotive design that is loosely based on the LNER H class and will fit into a motor unit. Ooh, sounds really good. Leslie Gilpin Railway says, wow, bluegrass sounds cool, just not fully a fan of BLI in N. Yeah, Broadway Limited, the Paragon 2 decoders tended to go pop as soon as you look at them. Egg Rider asks, when using a DC controller with Bluetooth chips, it is apparently advisable that the controller is not PWM and can provide at least 1 amp. Yeah, there is a DC running mode, and essentially what this means is because you've got that app-based control of the decoder via Bluetooth, technically all you need is a power source to the track. You don't need, if all you're running is the Bluetooth decoders, you don't technically need a DCC system. And one of the little party tricks of the Hornby's Bluetooth range is that if you just get your DC controller, I can't lift it up, but we've got here a Gauge Master Model D. Crank the power to max, put your Bluetooth fitted locomotive on the track, it's now getting 12 volts of power. And as long as this is beefy enough to give it the power, you're then doing the control on your tablet and it will run. That locomotive will also, as far as I know, there'll be a way to tell it to work as a DC-based locomotive. And as long as you've got the ampage, now some of these cheap and cheerful DC controllers are not going to cut it, but what it means is that Hornby will be selling, and I think a lot of people perhaps haven't delved into some of the accessories or understood quite what they do, but there's also a power supply which sole purpose is to take your mains power from the wall, transform it to, I think it's 15 volts AC, suitable to go on the power onto the track, and it puts that power to the track, and then you're controlling on your Bluetooth app. And this, I think not a lot of people have picked up on this, but actually this is a very cost-effective way of doing DCC without having to buy an expensive system. And I think Hornby's thoughts are that actually they can bring a lot more people into dipping their toe into the world of DCC. Now, the other major selling point of these Bluetooth decoders is that the sounds are effectively hot swappable, and I confirmed this with Simon Kohler. You effectively, there's a whole load of sounds you can download through the app off the internet, and that means that Hornby can expand it at will. You're not limited to this. I know a lot of people, when buying TTS decoders, it was so common to hear people say, oh, I'm looking for such and such a TTS decoder, but can't find any. Find loads of HSTs or rebuilt merchant navies, but the one I want is a J36, or the one I want is an S15 or a Class 08. And it was very much the big problem of TTS, that getting the sound file that you wanted was really tricky. The TXS decoders do away with that. You can overwrite them again and again and again and again with whatever sound suite you download from the Hornby site. And my understanding is that the downloads don't cost you anything. Effectively, you're just paying for the decoder. Once you've got the decoder downloaded to the app, the sounds, because they'll only work on that decoder, that's part of what you've paid for effectively. A big hello to Les Cliff. It's so great to see you. Now, you may well have just caught a sneaky peek on the UK TV catch-up service, ironically catching up before its broadcast, but episodes 1 and episode 11 were available on the catch-up. And you will have seen our man in the field, Les Cliff, actually in the opening credits to all the episodes. I am as well. So big hello to you, Les. Really looking forward to that. And also you may have seen me too in episode 11, which they've put out as a little extra to sort of say, sorry about the fact it wasn't available last Monday. You know when you got a hanging piece of skin at the side of your nail and it really annoyed. Right. GWR Buckley Junction, big hello to you. Gordon Hanning says, the less you spend on the system, the more pounds you will have for locos. And that is an interesting point. The decoders, the RRP is about like £69.
69, dude.
But that's actually, what you compare, that's like around half what an ESU or Zemo costs, with the flexibility that you can just change what it's got on it. So I think that this is going to be an amazing shot in the arm for DCC, for the hobby. Yeah, Sarah Davis says 1 and 11. I thought that was the second one. I was surprised that a certain thing wasn't in the certain thing. No spoilers here. No, they put up episode 1 and episode 11. Now, episode 11, which obviously was supposed to be the last in the series, was a top 10 episode.
A top 10, eh?
Top 10. And
Jen loves top 10s.
Yeah, Warbler Production says the Doctor didn't move after I spotted him. Now in plain sight. Oh, hold on. Oh, hey, I was going to change the camera so that people didn't see his method of transportation.
The giant green space hand.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Jen, as I was popping out of the shop to get your inevitable caffeine fix,
yeah,
you were mentioning adding subwoofers.
Yes.
And, well, adding Bluetooth speakers. So, are you suggesting that you would add subwoofers so you can gronk it up while getting it down?
Yeah, gronk it up, gronk it up, gronk it up.
Not a cult. But yes, I do like one thing regarding the idea of adding speakers.
Yeah, Billy's replacement speakers.
If you have
Billy's got a business opportunity.
If you have a layout-wide set of speakers as well as on your locals,
yes,
then you can have what I like to think I would have if I was doing a full-size layout. Station announcements, background sounds like birds tweeting, cars, horns, pipping, things like that. There's so many options you could add as a speaker. And I know you could do that yourself already. You can just have like a sound generator on like a Raspberry Pi attached to some speakers and a set of buttons.
But this is much easier to do. I think when people say, oh, you could just get a Raspberry Pi, I'm not a coder. At the moment people say, oh, you could just get a Raspberry Pi and write a custom piece, and it's like, not interested.
But I don't like raspberries.
It's like, I don't give a crap about technology. I just want to turn it on and it just work out of the box. And that's what this offers. Turn it on and it just works out of the box. No messing about. So SJ Dusty Pup says, after your video on the TMC sales, I've ordered a H2 in olive green. Can you suggest suitable coaches for it? Now, the risk
tonight's beverage of choice is Monster and Cokes, and tonight's biscuit of choice is McVitie's Hobnobs. The milk chocolate oaty ones. Ooh.
Right, get yourself over to Hereford Model Centre at the risk of Mark Wilson now perking up and going, no, me bargains. They've got a load of Hornby Southern Railway coaches. Now, look very, very closely in the pictures at the couplings. Narrow couplings, good, they are your friend. Big goalpost couplings, no, walk on by. So ignore... If you order them in terms of price, the Hornby coaches, you're looking for the super detail ones. So they start at about £23 a coach, which is actually really good. I think Kernow Model Centre has also got a load as well. You can check them out too. And they're the green Southern Railway liveried. I think they're bullied coaches, and they are perfect, and at a price that won't break the bank. Yeah, Mark Wilson says, "Oh my God, I give up." Oh, by the way, Mark, did your certificate arrive? I've been meaning to ask.
I hope it has.
Oh.
I've got such an issue at the moment with Royal Mail. I was supposed to send a Christmas card to a guy in Austria. Now, I didn't have a chance at Christmas because, well, with everything going on, I ran out of time. And when we were visiting people, I had been finished work for an hour and a half when we set off, having done a 26-hour day. So I ran out of time. So I thought, well, it's okay. I'll send it in January. He'll get it a bit late, but he was going to get it late anyway because of international post. So Russia decided to hack the Royal Mail, and now we've got no international post. It's like, I can't win.
So, big hello to Crossways Point Junction Model Railway, and Tim's Model Railway in different videos says, I am getting a Bachmann Red Double Fairly this year. It's a good loco, actually. Hopefully,
It's a nice looking one.
And I am 30 years old this year. Oh, we have a song about that.
Happy birthday to you, squash tomatoes and stew, bread and butter in the gutter. Happy birthday to you.
30 today, 30 today. Actually, not today, but...
I remember when I was 30. No,
I
I don't.
Francis Wadsworth says, oh, no, in reference to Linnet 12DD says, I'm not late. What does Gandalf have to say on this matter?
He's right. A Monday clubber is never late, Toto Wagons. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
3B Rail says Mark will need to go for a lie down. Yeah, he was looking forward to some of them buckets. Oh dear. Right, Darren Faulkner, hello, says, how do Bernie? Say hi. I said hi before. And some of these comments are whizzing up quite quickly, it must be said.
You love it when they whiz. So we've got a load of message about the H2 from TMC and things like that. That seems to be a very popular loco.
Yeah, I blame myself for that. I featured it in a bargains video, and it is on offer at other retailers. I know Rails has got it, Kerno Model Centre, I've seen it at. But TMC had it for like 15 quid less, plus free postage in the UK, and you can't argue with that. I mean, that's like, 15 quid extra, that's like a wagon or something. So, it's just a really, really great price, and not seeing them that low at all. Linnet12DD says, thanks, Gandalf. No, he's gone now. I just hear the flapping of hat. I think
He's eating all my biscuits.
Oh, well, don't tell him you've got another packet.
Shh, don't. No, thanks, Jen. Thanks for saying it.
You're
That's
welcome.
Great.
Ivor
By the way,
Jones.
is that my N-gauge gravel over there?
And yes, I found
I
it.
will need that.
Yes, you will. Yes, you're going to be eating all that gravel. Hampshire, it is actually technically edible. Oh, thank you so much. Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase very, very kindly donated £5 on the super chat. And says, Jenny, stop putting my bread and butter pudding in the gutter, please. Excuse me.
Okay.
I hate bread and butter pudding, but yeah, we will try not to put it there. Joe Smith says, over 300 people watching
My
and only
goodness.
79 thumbs up.
What?
So do
My
please
goodness.
tickle that like button and share us to social media as well. Tim Maslin says, and this is another topic actually I did want to talk about. What do you think to the magnetic coupling announced by Acura Scale and Hornby? Yeah, Acura, West Hill Wagon Works kind of started off this trend, done really, really well, and I think it was only a matter of time before manufacturers started offering the same as well. And I think it's a great idea. My experience using the West Hill Wagon Works magnetic couplings is I actually won't use anything else in 009. I might actually use the N-gauge couplings in 009. And they're brilliant, much more reliable, running so much easier to use, and quite frankly, won't go back. And the ones that I've used in 00 as well, been really, really good. I've actually got the very first ones that they released, they sent it back over for review, did a review video. Those are still running just fine. And they then refined the system, so you didn't have to have the couplings handed on a locomotive, on items of rolling stock. DJK666 says, I got myself a bullied 3 set from Tony's Trains of Rugby. Oh, brilliant. Charlie Chimp, big hello to you. Says, hopefully we're off to Chester Model Centre tomorrow. They often have bargains there. We should go there. I've not been to the Chester Model Centre in about 15 years. I think it was part of the Model Zone Empire last time I went.
Fair enough. So for those who were asking the other day what the progress is on my proposed N-gauge layout, I've started getting the stuff for it. It's balanced
it's
in a variety of colours, but it's all in N-gauge.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to actually tell people what it's made of, but technically this is, I think, edible. Don't do that.
Don't eat it. Don't
say
it.
Jenny said I could just spoon my ballast in. But it is all natural.
Yeah, but so are rocks.
Although I have a feeling the dye.
So is arsenic.
No, but it's plant based.
So is arsenic. It comes from apple seeds. Sorry, cyanide even.
Anyway, Growler Blackwood Engage.
Oh, it has a funny texture to it.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you. I'm not sure whether it's a big secret or not, but it's it's good stuff. Right.
So I'm looking forward to getting started. Let's put it that way.
But yeah, right. You talk to the nice people. I'm going to stuff a white
Everyone's saying,
chocolate.
is it sand? That's true. Sand is sand is natural.
Yeah, if you've ever
Ballast on toast, says DJ K66.
Can I just say, if you've ever changed a baby's nappy and that baby has been eating sand, then it's what you would call a very challenging poo that's been going on.
Did you have to say that the moment that I took a bite of a chocolate biscuit? You little horrible, horrible one. It's made of humans, yes. Engage ballast, it's made of people. Soylent ballast.
Yeah. Mobo's executive ballast.
Ruben Nasrell says, I very much doubt a spoonful of ballast would make the medicine go down. That is true. So, a spoonful of ballast doesn't do you that good. Doesn't do you that good. Do you that good? Just a spoonful of ballast, it won't do you that good. Because it tastes a bit like wood. How's that? You love that. You were speechless because of the quality of my amazing put together quickly jokey song. Yes?
Will you talk to the nice people so I can finish off this?
I'm just looking at you to annoy you. Come here. Wow, you've got an invisible clown horn on your nose. It's an invisible clown nose. Oh, are you okay? Are you...
Talk to the people.
Jen, I'm concerned with you. What's happened? Have you just broken a tooth? Oh my god, do you want to go and quickly deal with that? Just going to swallow it. Here, have a spoonful of ballast. That'll help.
Oh, that really hurt.
You cracked your tooth on a cream egg. How on earth have you done that? My goodness.
I don't hear you talking to the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a medical emergency. Jenny has managed to crack her tooth on a creamed egg. That is just never seen before. Andrew156 says maybe it was a boiled egg. That's true. Flamachera1 suggests a spoonful of ballast gets the medicine right through. The medicine right through. Medicine right through. Just a spoonful of ballast gets the medicine right through in the most disdainful way. I like that. That is good. Hot Dog Pilot suggests you just bitten on a bit of tin foil, which is always a yes. And David Dorrell says that's an illustration of why you should never eat on camera. Yes. Worthington has done even worse than you. At least yours was slightly solid. He says, I did that once. I cracked a tooth on a tuna sandwich. How? How on earth did you do that?
And James Hardy, no, I didn't eat the ballast, but that... I think it was, sometimes you get like a sugar crystal, like a very hard lump of... it must be sugar. And it's crunchy, and it's hit. One of my teeth that's got a filling is basically hit it right at the point that it's sent a shock through the nerve.
So we've had a quick request there. Melchester says, Zoe, can you do a masterclass on how you make the clown horn sound? Yes. It's and it's right here, right at the top of your vocal range. If you can get your if you go,
I can't do it. Most people can't do it. Seriously.
listen like this. If you hum like and then try and go as high as you can. So your vocals cords are right up at the top of your neck. And then it's a quick, high-pitched sound as you breathe in and breathe out. So it's or and that's all it is. It's just only in reverse. So see, you're getting there. You've got a slightly higher-pitched sound, but that's what it is. It's
I can't do it on the intro. That's going to be taken out of context. It's always
I
going to
can't
clip.
do it on the intake.
Somebody's going to take that little clip of us doing clown horns there, and it's going to upload it as a short.
Only we can upload a short.
Stephen Cameron says, I once cracked a tooth on a pork pie. Are
you sure it was your tooth in
Yeah,
the
is
pork
it-
pie?
156 Andrew says, Jenny, don't go to the dentist at 2:30. Yeah, 2:30. 2:30. Ham Shackleton says, Jenny sounds like a goose.
She looks like one as well. She's as cross as one. You
Leslie-
should see her when she goes off on one.
Leslie Gilpin Railway says, Sarah Millican does the horn sound in her act. Yeah, so I've heard other people do it, but it's really weird when you see somebody do it. Wiven Model Railway says, Oi, you're making my dog bark. Robert Swiderski says, was it a ballast egg? Oh, childhood memories of eating a boiled egg on the beach at a family picnic and there being some sort of sand there.
Oh,
Oh,
sandy sandwich.
luckily, at that age, the teeth were a little bit stronger than they are
A
now.
sandwich featuring real sand.
Yes. Also known as very challenging poo 2 days later.
Oh, Jen.
Right, anyway. Vic Freak says, Jen's horn sounds like the one I had on my Rattly Tomahawk.
Yes, doesn't it? I thought I recognised
Did
it.
you,
Yeah,
did
the
you have one of
rally
those things in the spokes as well? And you used to pretend it was a motorcycle.
Oh, we used to. You know those little. You would buy like 5 or 10p, and it would be a little drink in a carton. Once you drank the drink, you crunch the carton down, so it's just a piece of flattened, essentially plastic. Stick it into the spokes around the bike frame, and it will make the noise as if it's a playing card, but it'll last longer than a playing card. You can have it for weeks.
Oh, it used to be like a plastic card, like old. The ones to use were used up phone cards because
Yes.
they were like credit cards, but weren't. So
Yeah.
they only went in the bin otherwise. And then do you remember those things as well? They had like those slidey little. They were like beads you put on your spokes.
Spooky Dokies!
Spooky dokey.
I loved Spooky Dokies. They were great.
Oh, I think we've
You
turned.
couldn't stealth anywhere because
Yeah.
it would go clack, 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 clack.
Unless you went really fast, and then the centripetal acceleration would make them stick to the edge.
That
Of course,
is
by
true.
then you weren't really stealth because you were passing by as fast as you could, pedalling furiously. So I'm trying to stop my Spooky Dokies from making a racket. Richard Swiderski used to put a lolly stick in his spokes.
That works as well, yeah.
Rick Morley says we used a wooden chip fork. Oh.
Oh, my
Kids these days don't know they're born because they don't look up from the mobile phones.
I'm
Which
pretty
is
sure
actually,
everyone's aware they've been born.
but because they don't look up from their mobile phones, that is precisely the market that Hornby are aiming at with the Bluetooth.
Pretty much,
did you
yeah.
see how we're just like?
So, do you honestly think this Bluetooth is the future, or is it going to be one of those things that
I think it's
could change things but won't because everyone's
it's a
already invested?
it's a stepping stone to the future. The fact is, it is backwards compatible with what you've already got.
Oh,
And
that's it. Makes it even better.
it's not a completely separate system. It will you can use it as an add-on to your existing system, so to speak. I have to say, I think it's a really great idea. Already looking at some of the other systems that have been introduced in the US. I think Bachman's licensed one in the US. I wonder if we'll see that make it to the UK. Certainly Soundtracks with their Blue Nami system. are looking to release that ultimately in the UK.
Here's my concern.
Okay.
Can these individual systems talk to one another?
That I can't tell you.
Because if they can't, it's not going to work.
It all depends, I guess, on the language that they talk to each other at over Bluetooth. Because Bluetooth is just like the bandwidth, but it's what language they speak to each other in.
Very true. Iron Horse has an interesting question.
Yeah. What's the new sponsor, which I can see? Do tell. Shall I press the button?
You can, or you could just say it.
If it's easier if I press the button, because we.
The Monday Club comes in association with Roca Prototype Models, where detail, accuracy and value for money go hand in hand. With their debut model of SafePack auto racks wowing model railroaders alike, now is your chance to order these in road names and configurations to accurately reproduce auto rack workings from 1974 to the present day on your model railroad. Order today from rocamodels.com and see the full range for yourself.
So there we are.
Yeah, not bad, eh? I have to admit, one thing. When I was putting out a video together the other day with Jen, I think it was last week now, because we tend to try and work as far ahead as we can, I said to her, are these the models or are these the photos of the actual thing? And they were the models.
Yeah, the photographs that you saw there in that video were actually done by Ken Patterson. So Ken of Patterson, and big up to the What's Neat This Week posse. And it just shows why he is the leader in this field. Because those are really great photos. Carlton, going back to the Bluetooth stuff, and incidentally, Iron Horse Railways asking about the new sponsor implies that he didn't see the beginning. And if he didn't see the beginning... Oh, I can hear the flappy...
A Monday clubber is never late, Toto Wagons, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
You're welcome.
James Hardy asks, what's running tonight? Well, we've got the usual three...
Gandalf was running just now.
Yeah, with like a stream of biscuit crumbs in his way. Right.
Hey, he's nicked me biscuits. I'll be up. Hey, give it back. Hey.
Hey,
I'm going to get me biscuits now.
Yeah, right, what's running? The usual three on the ABC shuttle, because I'm too bone idle to change them. But then we have got, let's see if I can pick up here. You'll see a Class 07 shunter. This is 07013 with the DCC Concepts Zen Stay Alive system in. On an air brake train. Now, this is interesting. I don't normally run my air braked wagons, excuse me, but we have got an assortment of VEAs. I don't know why it seems to be struggling on a spot over there. I'm going to clean that bit of track as well whilst we're up and about. I'll have to wait for the train to pass. So you see we've got a whole load of OBAs, OCAs, and then we've got the Acura Scale HAA wagons on the back, 6 of them. Then we've also got Duchess and Montrose remains from last week, but I have upgraded the coaches. Instead of pulling the LMS Period 3 coaches, we've now got a mix of LMS porthole stock and Mark 1s in...
Are they in the mix?
In one of my favourite liveries, actually. It's kind of weird that I don't have more in this livery. But the Blood and Custard livery, let's see, can we pick it up on this angle of the dangle? There you are, you'll see it in the background. Then we've also got a West Country class, a rebuilt West Country class.
Wow.
It's sailing around. Can't remember which one it is. But that's on the van train. I must change over the van train at some point. Let me just clean that dirty spot.
Oh, it's dirty.
It's
dirty. You love a dirty spot.
Yeah, are you going to be talking?
War, Tony. It's ritualistic.
Yeah. Okay. Are you finished? Are you?
Well, you're on about the West Country class, so of course I'm going to do some funny voices.
PFGC Plastico Ferroviario Genova Coronata. Evening to you. Hot Dog Pilot 63. Great to see you. Model Railway Shed Dino. Great to see you as well. Don't forget, everybody, tickle that like button and also share the stream if you haven't already done so. And we're talking mostly about Bluetooth. Is it the future of DCC?
And if it isn't, what do you guys think's the future?
Um,
Because I would love to hear thoughts from people who are already invested in this stuff
yeah.
to what they think the future will be.
B. Moser asks, Jenny, are you going to Doncaster? Unfortunately not. I'm not going to be at Doncaster. I know that there was this conspiracy theory abounding that I was secretly in the employ of KR Models because I'd driven the van to a couple of shows for them because young Mike Revel didn't have a driving licence. But they've now got a new member of staff who does drive, so I have been rendered superfluous. So unfortunately...
It was always going to happen because you were never in their employ. You were doing them a favour, and it was on the agreement that they were getting someone in. Just they hadn't got them yet, and they needed a hand.
So as it stands, no, I won't be there, unfortunately. Not unless might ask Rails if they need a +1. Let's stir the conspiracy theories. So I rock up on Rails, going, yeah, cut your deal, do your nice bargain. What's that, John? Can't do that. Apparently, can't cut your nice bargain.
Although we might turn up, we don't know.
I don't know, yeah. Graham MCK says, are you coming to Model Rail Scotland, Jenny? Again, no invite thus far. We were there with the upside down layout. Now, you've started seeing on Hornby and Model World, if you've been watching it via catch-up, or alternatively tonight, you can watch episode 1 on Yesterday Plus One. Allegedly, there's another channel. Couldn't tell you what it was. But you start to see the Four Seasons layout.
I can so far away.
I can tell people. I can tell people actually now. It's called the Four Seasons, the secret layout that I was building.
Yeah, it kind of showed it.
Peter Jackson.
I am going to go and check on the system, whatever you actually might be in. See if you're in it tonight. Because
it's episode 1. We've already seen it.
So we're not in it. Oh no. I don't know why I'm saying we're not in it. I'm not in it at all. Go on then.
Peter Jackson Cheadle Heath says, Laurie of some Mechanical Marvels are doing things with KR Models.
Are they really?
I don't know. Couldn't tell.
Laurie and Kay are sitting in a shed, playing with all their trains. I was going to go sit in a tree, KISSING, and then decided not to. And it didn't kind of work out in the end when I had to.
Are you finished? Are you really finished?
Jen, I am never finished.
Yeah. Warbler Production says, I've already seen the layout. It looks great. You're turning into Tony the Tiger.
You've seen the layout? Where did you see it?
Here.
How did you see it?
Here.
Who did
with
you
his
see
eyes. It? Yeah, he came to pick up Grove Street Yard.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Wilson says, I'm watching the Monday Club on my phone whilst also watching the Hornby programme.
That would make you cross-eyed.
Yeah. And Mark Wilson did ask earlier on, I did see your comment asking, do I have a Class 52? I do have an older Hellion one, actually, from the very first release. That TARDIS has already been spotted.
Is it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. It's pretty safe to
positive.
say. Oh, interesting. Peter Jackson Cheadle Heath says, Laurie will be at Doncaster with KR Models. First I knew about it, I didn't get an invite.
Well, they can only invite so many people, Jen.
What you need to do is drop them an email, say, why is Zoe? Why is Zoe being?
Just why is Zoe?
Yeah. Why is Jenny not with you? Why didn't you invite Jenny?
I like my version.
Does she smell?
I like my version better. Just why is Zoe?
Yeah.
Warbler, of course, has spotted the TARDIS.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, let's just see now. Will the Doctor move mysteriously? Can you hear that noise? It's very faint because he's in double. Is he? Shall we? Hot Dog Pilot 63 asks, "Is he driving the van?" No, they've got a guy called Carl. Right. So I think the Doctor has moved house.
Oh no!
Oh no! Right. Ben Tullett says Zoe has another hour of being in this cheerful mood until the video game she is playing goes against her.
Yeah. I'm trying to make up for earlier on. I have had a stressful day.
Iron Horse Railway says they probably didn't invite you because they thought you might fetch me along again. Oh. And Mark Wilson says, future idea, along with the sound, we need the smell of diesel fumes.
Add a scent to your vape stream on one of those live Steam machine things.
Angel of Crew, big hello to you. And Naive Gauge as well says, I'm hoping to be at Southampton too. Not sure if I'll go Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Graham MCK says, I'll be at the Model Rail Scotland, have my holidays that weekend, first time since lockdowns. And us bus drivers don't always get weekends off.
Actually, I'm just thinking about it. You know, Warhammer at the moment has those Warhammer candles, smells like Slaanesh or whatever.
Smells like desperation.
But yeah, they've got scented candles to enhance their gaming areas and things like that. So you've got a scent of the battlefield.
What witchcraft is this? Warhammer's doing aromatherapy.
Yeah, the scent of all of their various chaos deities from the game.
The scent of having your face ripped off by a gene stealer.
So here's the thing. Either a scented candle, which is easy enough to and safe enough reasonably, or some kind of essential oil that you put into an oil burner, and you set it in your train room, and it gives you the scent of diesel, or the scent of a coal shed, or something like that.
You could just have a little jar of diesel, and every time you're like, oh, I need the experience.
No, safely is what I'm suggesting. It's not the actual thing, and it's perfectly safe, but it smells
not
right.
Sat in there with a paraffin heater that's burning a bit rich.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. There's probably a market for something like that. Now that people are saying, here's that we'd like this we call it Warhamster.
Yeah.
I like that.
Nick at Bletchton High Level says, I've always had an idea of adding a drop of diesel to a smoke unit. Would it work? I think it would actually catch fire. It's not advisable to use...
Definitely not advisable.
Unapproved liquids in them. And on that same note, Graham MCK says, I have the Class 59 Daypole with smoke generator. Could I put a drop of food colouring into it to make the smoke black? That would actually just break it, and it also wouldn't make the smoke black.
The problem is that the molecules are quite large for food colouring.
Yeah, it just ends up contaminating the thing. It doesn't actually vaporize. It just sort of sticks to the insides. Robert Cicera says, did the doctor leave the emergency brake on?
Yes.
Big hello to John JMC. Oh, there's so a few people who are late.
A Monday clubber is never late, Toto Wagons, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
So we got a question, a statement. Mark Wilson says, it's all kicking off apparently in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Yes.
Why?
Okay. Remember when Dungeons & Dragons went to 3rd edition and they had the open gaming license where,
anybody could write their own stuff.
You don't have to get a license from us to produce stuff. We want to make Dungeons & Dragons fair for everyone. So here's an open gaming license. You can't print the rules. You still have to buy the rules from us. But you can use those rules to create your own settings.
What went wrong?
Well, they decided that wasn't bringing enough money in for them. Not happy with the boost in sales and interest coming from Stranger Things, or the huge amount of YouTubers that are now doing live game sessions on Dungeons & Dragons online. They want the new Open Gaming License 1.1, where they can take the stuff that you've created and sell it themselves. So you've worked on a new setting. It's unique to you. You've got products based on it. We want that now. We're going to print that.
Legally, you can't do that because
absolutely can't do it
because they said it was open source. People produced their own stuff. They cannot then steal ownership of that IP, and that suggests to me that at some point somebody's going to sue them, and they're going to lose quite badly.
Yeah, they're trying to force this new contract of you have to sign this. You've got 30 days. And you have to sign this, otherwise you can't do your stuff anymore. Like, no, we're still using the old source. As far as
but that's also been ruled unlawful. You can't.
I know all this, and right now it's kicking off because here's the thing.
Is this in the UK or elsewhere?
It's in America. Here's the thing that Hasbro, who own Wizards of the Coast, who own Dungeons and Dragons, need to realise: Dungeons and Dragons is played by lawyers who are not happy with this.
Yeah. And they'll do this stuff pro bono just because they can. John JMC says, more work on my layout tonight. Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, says, Jenny, have you heard of Hatchet's new magazine collection called Build the DBBR01? I had not, but that does seem to be in their wheelhouse. I know they've done a few things actually like that. It was Build the Flying Scotsman, Build the Ballard. Phil Metcalf said, I've cancelled my D&D Beyond subscription. So did lots of others.
Yeah, I won't touch D&D now. I used to be a massive fan of Dungeons and Dragons. I have the game books, I have the extra stuff. The Forgotten Realms was a big thing. I will not touch it. I will not play on my shows any Dungeons and Dragons game until this is sorted out.
Right. I have to say that I've forgotten what I was going to say. No, I really have forgotten what I was going to say. They always say, don't worry about forgetting what you're about to say or what you went into a room for, because it's only bad if you... Like, everybody forgets where they put their keys. It's only bad if you forget what keys are for. As to how it was described to me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, Graham MCK, yeah. Hatchet's Build the Titanic. Apparently it costed out. It would have been cheaper to build the real thing. Yeah, they sucker you in with a few cheap issues, and then
I really did want to do that Eagle Moss Build the Enterprise, though. If I'd had space in my house to store it once it was done, I would have.
How big would it have been?
Oh, it's massive. It'd be about the length of this table.
But when you can't, it's like your father's James Bond car collection. I think he's about the only person in the country who stuck it right through to the end. But
they put out some real tripe in the middle of that to pad it out.
Blink and you'll miss it in the background James Bond cars that James Bond doesn't even look at, interact with, or even sit in.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, AD Pull and the Hellion Class 02. That's the other big bit of news, is that Gauge Master Retail have released the pictures of the livery sample, the actual livery sample of the Hellion Class 02 Shunter in a What If BR Rail Blue with tops number as 02005.
So naturally you've already ordered one.
Yes, I have.
You could put tops numbers on a toaster and Jen would want it.
Yeah, you haven't looked too hard at our toaster, have you?
No, I haven't, because it is BR Blue.
But yeah, it does look amazing. Now, the real Class 02 Shunters, they're a curious bunch. There was 20 of them, of which only, actually, 4 technically lasted into tops, but only 3... Are you alright there, Cupboard Monkey? Have you just done that thing where you throw up in your mouth? Oh.
After earlier on, I'm having a few issues.
Okay. But, yeah, it looks amazing. The real locomotives, fleet of 20... 4 were entered onto tops, but 02003 never actually got a tops number painted on the side. None of them actually got Rail Blue under BR service, despite the fact that 3 of them did get tops numbers. However, what's thrown things around is that one of them did subsequently get painted Rail Blue, but without the BR insignia, in private ownership, with its tops number on, so that's probably where the confusion does arise. However, what Gauge Master have done is gone whole hog and done the locomotive as 02005 in the full Rail Blue, and it actually does look amazing. The other one that I've actually also ordered too is 02004, which is being done in BR Green, but with no insignia whatsoever, but it does have its tops number on. They were a small class of diesel shunters, 4-wheel, short wheelbase, designed as a like-for-like replacement for the Lancashire and Yorkshire Pug. So they got to a lot of places that the Pugs did, where the Pugs were latterly still working. So a lot of Liverpool, Allerton Lane, places like that, around Merseyside, Birkenhead. Although they were in an early withdrawal in the early 1970s, as I said, 3 did manage to get a tops number. A 4th technically was allocated but never received it painted on it. A good number of them survived on in industry, and Hellion are actually doing a lot of the industrial liveries as well. They're also doing a model in O gauge. I was quite surprised though that the NCB Blue, which looks amazing, is only available in O gauge. Mark Wilson says the O2s must have really struggled to pull themselves along, let alone any wagons. Apparently they were quite successful for what they did. It's just the work was disappearing pretty quick. No more so than a pug. A pug's, a little tiny thing. You'd think, how can that pull much? But they can. Worthington Model Railway says, anyone see the YouTube vid today of the 1-to-1 steam loco running on the carpet? Surely it wouldn't run on the carpet. It would run through the carpet.
A 1-to-1 look, so a full size one.
Yeah. I mean, you could put a piece of carpet down, but it would just neatly slice it in two where the wheels run.
Yeah.
Phil Metcalf says, I got a Gandalf when Diagnosti did the Lord of the Rings game. They all got lost when I got divorced.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's De Agostini.
I thought they were the people who did the drinks.
No, De
Oh,
Agostini
that's Fizerono.
Yes, De Agostini are the ones who do the book collections, magazine collections and stuff like that. The one they've got at the moment is Build Your Own Moomin House, which looks amazing.
Yeah,
but when you look at the price, it's a fortune.
AKA plastic living room tap that you can't afford.
If I could have that somewhere, I probably would have. But again, it's like the Enterprise. I love it. I really want it. I have nowhere to put it.
Huh. Chris Mack asks, how many trains have you got in your collection, Jennifer? No, I can never have too many. I think at last count, there's about 350, something like that. Don't actually know. I'm not one of these people who feels the need to brag about what they've got. I know some other YouTubers make a big thing about lording over, like, oh, look at what I've got.
That's why you don't have them on display behind you.
Occasionally they get seen in videos, and I've done videos in the past where it's like having a look at various things.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's
the
not
way you're
about
doing it,
bragging.
It's not bragging. It's talking about the collection.
Yeah. Blackgowrie Forest Railway Andrew Johnson says, yes, the locomotive just managed to make the carpet quite dirty. It also damaged the ends a little bit. Naive Gage says, I just looked at Roka's website. Seems they only have one model, and it's way beyond my budget. £91 per wagon, but thank you, Jenny, for drawing it to my attention.
Yeah, they are a new company. They're a new startup.
Absolutely, but really interesting products, to be honest, and there will be more. But, I can remember when Akira Scale brought their first product out. Was that the HUO hoppers? Gosh, they've come on a long way since then.
Yeah, just a bit, just a lot.
I think as well, part of that problem is importing them from America, but hopefully they'll be getting a UK stockist shortly.
That'd be if they can talk to rails or someone like that, because
don't
they have Railroads of Sheffield for the American side?
They do, actually, they do. Alan Reynolds at Buckland Junction says, whoops.
Hello.
Good evening, Jenny and Zoe. I think he's late.
I believe Skipsy Trains was as well. Gandalf, you're slacking.
A Monday clubber is never late to the wagons, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
You're welcome.
And a big hello to the Tryheart as well. Great to see you in. I hope I find you well. Let's have a look. John JMC says, I counted mine last night. Haha. It's very easy to, certainly if you've been collecting for a long time, and in my case, you're looking at
500 years.
Well, no, if you include the childhood stuff,
Sorry,
going
you
back to
doing
like
it when you were a
1980.
kid, were you? So 400 years.
I think I was only about 18 months when my father first introduced me to the idea of model trains because he needed an excuse to get his out of the loft. But in terms of being back in the hobby, I always count from 2001, so we're looking at 21 years back in the hobby. And I was very lucky, and I make no bones about it. I just left university, and I had a reasonably well-paying job and no real overheads. I still lived with my parents for the first couple of years.
As you do.
So, right at the point where we had all the cheap, high-quality stuff coming through from the likes of Bachmann from China, so I went a bit hog wild, and
you went into a chain shop and went, I'm having that. And the guy behind the counter
There
went,
was
"You haven't
actually...
what?" And she says, "All of it. I'm having that."
I remember the first time I walked into Farnworth Model Centre, it was, sadly no longer with us. And very first time I'd been told, "Oh, have you been to this model shop?" I was just starting out. I had a lot of disposable cash. Prices were actually quite cheap as well. You're talking about £4.50 for a Bachmann 16-ton mineral wagon, that kind of pricing. And I went in there, and he always had booth barnacles propping up his counter, passing the time of day, but never buying anything. And I waited patiently, and he must have had me pegged as another another time waster. It's like, "Oh, can you tell me something about trains? Little Jimmy wants something." And I just looked at the shelves behind him, and I went, "Gonna have one of those, one of those, one of those, blah, 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 blah." And I went through, and you could see the look in his eyes like, is this some kind of, are you going to go, psych, and then run out the shop or something after he'd rung them all through the till? And I just bought this huge amount of rolling stock and stuff. And the Bachmann Class 25 and 24, when they first came out, I got them from there. And the Class 25, I bought every single version. Same with the Class 24. BR Green, Rail Blue, pre and post tops. And you could back then quite easily, because you're looking at, it was about 35 quid for a Bachmann Class 25. I remember the Hornby X Lancashire and Yorkshire Pug. Everybody loves a Puggy Poo. And I've got a huge collection of them now. But the very first one I bought, I think it cost me £17.50. And I bought that at Bolton Model Mart, actually, in their old location. And that was the first thing I bought when I found that. And it was like, I like that. And the little voice went, "You know, you don't have to ask anybody's permission. You're an adult now," allegedly. And, you know, I've told the story so many times. Now, Sarah Davis says, "Do we have any videos tonight?"
Yes.
Yes, we do. We're going to start them at about past.
Yeah.
Warbler Production says, "Second TARDIS to left of engine shed, below sponsor logo." Yeah, it's taken a while for people to spot that, but yeah. John JMC says, "I've sold so many of mine in the last few years. USA Tank, Q1, G2A, lots of German locos too." See, I never sell anything. I'll be honest that I did sell some stuff once, and I felt so bad about it afterwards that I actually ended up, over a period of a couple of years, I bought most of the stuff back, probably at 2 or 3 times what I actually got for it when I sold it. I seem to recall that there was 2 locomotives, and they were Hornby J94s in BR livery, and still to this date have not got them back, and I wished I hadn't sold them. I've still kept the private owner liveried ones, and they've now been DCC fitted, and occasionally do get run on wear yard. But I always regretted selling stuff, so I never did after that. And people have kind of badgered me, saying, "Oh, you should sell all this stuff that you hoard." And it's like, no, because I would just feel, I'd be like, "Oh, I wish I hadn't done that." Richard Stable says, "Jenny, what was the drive in those old Bachmann engines?" The Bachmann Class 25 hasn't changed a huge amount in that time. The first releases were the 25.2 and the 25.3. The 25.1 came later, but it was still a centrally mounted motor driving both bogies through gear towers. Excellent mechanism, still stands the test of time today. Charlie Chimp says, "I often think of selling my Stormtrooper armour, as I'm rather rotund now, but I can't let it go." I know what you mean. I've got a whole load of Victorian corsets and Elizabethan corsets, Edwardian stuff as well. A lot of stuff from like a theatre costume maker. So they're custom made, and I marvel at how small I used to be, but I just can't face getting rid of them. So I don't. Eagle Creek Railroad, big hello to you. Great to see you. Hope I find you well. Don't forget to tickle that like button and also share the stream to social media as well. Great to see everybody. We're getting a good turnout. Mel's as well. Good to see you in. See, oh yeah, we already said Skipsy trains. Why are you late, Skipsy? It's probably just got back to the hotel. But yeah, right.
He's been watching Yesterday -1.
Oh, you don't want to do that. Yesterday +1 starts at 9 o'clock. You want to get yourself in there. If you haven't already done what the rest of us did and watch it on catch up beforehand. Weird, yes, I know. It doesn't normally happen like that. Right. But we've been talking about Bluetooth being the future of DCC. And
Can I just say, guys, as a warning, if your teeth are blue, see a dentist. Because it's not right.
Well, what did it was a pirate. It's named after some like.
It's not a pirate.
Not a
It's a Viking king, Harald Bluetooth.
Did he actually have blue teeth?
Of course he didn't.
So why did they call him Bluetooth?
I don't know.
Right, that's like false advertising. Naive Gauge says, can anyone suggest when to use oil and when to use grease when lubricating a loco? Which oil and which grease to use? I actually use gun oil, and I don't use grease. Never bother with grease; too messy.
It's like grease lightning.
The stuff I've been using, it's called nano oil, but you can also get like Power Lube. I think Power Lube. Gauge Master sell it.
So, Jen, while we're talking about this,
right? Okay.
I've got a very old Engage model here.
Engage.
It's really lovely. It's one of my favourites. I've only got two. It's one of my favourites.
Okay.
And
the other one's also your favourite as well.
Yes, it is one of
You've
my
only got
favourites.
two. So that's your other favourite.
Yes, and I have not oiled it yet. I got it out of the bag. That I actually picked this up at was it Wally? The last show
Great
that
Electric Train Show.
could be the last show that we were at. That I was with you, and
that was Great Electric Train Show. You bought it from Ellis Clark Trains. And
I did.
Was really glad to get rid of some of the dross that nobody was buying.
I loved it. It's like that's the type of thing I want. It's Bachmann US, and I have not run it yet.
I've tested it.
I'd like to know what I would do to oil this and get it into good working shape.
Right. The trick is, and yeah, Valley's 56XX sewing machine oil is very, very good.
Okay.
You want an oil that won't attack plastic.
Right.
You don't want it too thick, but you also don't want it too runny. Singer sewing machine oil, says Alan Reynolds at Buckland Junction.
So this is the one I've got.
What you need to do, the usual wear points, you need a wee drop in the drivetrain. You don't need a lot, especially stuff like gun oil. I mean, I use gun oil because it was at the time readily available for me. It's also, I have a gun, so it's good for oiling that as well. And it clings.
That's got to shock some Americans.
Yeah.
Holy what? hang on. A British lady has a gun?
Yeah, I went on What's Neat this week, and at the end, because I actually had the gun up here, and at the end, we were chatting afterwards, shooting the breeze. I was just chatting with Sir Kenneth Patterson, and I said, oh, well, you know I've got a gun, and I just picked it up and did the old, banjo music starts playing, ding, 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 and there's me with this gun, and we just started talking about guns, and then Ken went and got his gun, and it's like, which I wasn't surprised at. I think you're legally mandated to have a gun around the house in America or something.
You're not legally mandated. The Constitution says you can have one. Kind of. There are debates, but it doesn't say you have to have one.
I think in some states it does. I think it is the law in some states.
So that's the sound.
That's the sound of the wheels not going round, but you sliding it on the track anyway.
Yeah.
So I can make that move. So that's not moved in a long time. People at home cannot see this.
No, but it's interesting that it does move.
I knew it did. I've already tested it, so I can put it on a rolling road now.
Okay.
So talk to the nice people.
So Jen's putting this on this thing onto a rolling road to test it out. So it does work, but you would say just a little bit of oil, yeah?
I'm going.
That won't work. That won't harm the plastic.
Mhm.
Right.
So sewing machine oil is very, very good.
Okay. So there we go then. It's not a gun, it's a boom-handled mouser.
Yeah, it's my boomstick.
This is my boomstick. It go boom.
So when you oil the locomotive, and I'll demonstrate on this because I'm going to actually run it on the thing. a little tiny, and like less is more. Don't drown the thing
So
in oil.
tiny drops.
And that's why an applicator such as this is really, really useful.
Basically,
and you just
head of a pin-sized.
and you don't squeeze the bottle; you just let it run out naturally. So I'm just anywhere on the motion where metal is going to move.
So it's not not just the wheels. You've got to do the motion as well.
Arguably,
easily overlooked.
The motion is actually, I would say, is probably about the most important. The reason for this is it doesn't take much wear for it to actually wear through the side rods, especially with something like this.
I suppose so.
Where it's really quite tiny. So what you need to do is just make sure that those aren't dry, because I have seen locomotives wear through
because it's easy to overlook it. You're so concentrating on the wheels that you forget the big picture.
Yeah, and
that is right. That's good to know.
And
so I didn't know this.
And given that this hasn't run in a long time, I just put a little bit down into where the axles are. So I'm just going to put my little lid on because we don't want...
Oh, Mark Wilson, thank you so much. It says he sent £10 on PayPal. Thank you so much. That's incredibly generous. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we do really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. I will just let me get this up and running first.
Okay, you run that.
Yeah.
So we've got a few people saying that they're fancying a rake of those Roker auto racks, but they'd have to sell their car. There is a little bit of that, yes. But you've got to remember, this is a new company with a new product.
And it is high quality.
And it's incredibly high quality. I was talking to the guy behind it, and it's Robert Steers. He's behind it. And my goodness, what he was telling me, he would have put this out earlier, but apparently the technology to deal with it didn't exist.
Yes, they're very cutting edge. Absolutely. Yeah. So, where's my phone? Let me just double check, because I always forget to check and thank people.
So... Warbler, be careful! Warbler has spilled some water on my iPad keyboard. My goodness, be careful, man. You've got to be careful with these things. Right, so now it's just running all happy.
Yeah, and it's probably not run in decades.
And it's just perfectly fine. It's perfectly happy, and it's going
these things are pretty
That is amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. So,
Leslie Gilpin says you won't get import duty from USA, just VAT in the mail or parcel company's admin fee. There is a bit of that, yeah.
Which is usually Royal Mail, and they're a complete rip-off because they don't appear to have any means to pay it in advance, and I would say that it's therefore a monopoly in ripping you off.
Pretty much. But what can you do?
Oh, thank you so much, Mark Wilson, for very generously sending £10 on paypal.me.
Vic Freak says, would you do a how-to video showing how to oil locomotives? That would actually be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And we'll go through various different common locomotives.
You might want to turn that down a bit.
Yeah, because that's probably... it is a little bit noisy. Older models do tend to be.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Thank you. Make sure that it's all working. That's great.
And actually, the other area, which without actually taking the top off this, another area is the end of the armature just there. You can just see it. See that there in the middle?
Right, yeah.
And this is a really good way of just helping get rid of a lot of that growling noise from the motor. You can go further and oil the gear chain by taking the body off, but I'd have to look up how to do that with this.
Yeah, you're not.
It looks fairly simple, actually.
You're not an expert on opening up N-gauge yet, but you will be.
Well,
because let's face it, that's one of the things we do on this show.
Well, I'm just looking at this, and it's a fairly simple... Older models do tend to be a lot easier to get into. We've got one screw there. So it'd just simply be a case of, I reckon...
Well, I have been told that Bachmann USA is more simple than some of the higher spec models.
Yeah, I mean...
So I would expect it would be fairly easy to get in and out of.
I mean, it's very heavy.
Oh, yes, it's heavy.
It's a metal casting. It's quite a simple model, but I think you'd be able to get into that no problem whatsoever. I mean, it's an interesting little thing. I'd be interested actually to see if I could DCC fit it.
I'd be amazed if you couldn't with some of the tiny ones these days. Some of the tiny...
It's about
the space inside.
Yeah, it's going to be all about the space.
There might be space in this, but then you'd have to put some wires across.
Yeah. We could do that.
And that would be
fine. Yeah. So
we've got an interesting comment here from Ben. Ben Tollett says, "Oh my word, there's a Hornby Thomas character on the Hattons pre-owned, which is Ben, based on the Bagnall 04 local. It's at 81 quid. It's a basic 040.
I think the problem is that
Are you paying for the name? It's Thomas.
it's not just that. There are some very avid and very deep-pocketed Thomas collectors.
Yes.
And to them, the fact that it's a cheap and nasty kid's toy, it doesn't factor into it. It's a collector's market.
When you're into the collector's market, prices are different.
Oh yeah,
I mean just look at Star Wars. All the old Star Wars
or
toys.
Star Trek.
Yeah. All the old
And a
tiny
piece
stuff.
of throwaway plastic tat can be worth hundreds, if not thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's an element of that happening.
The throwaway nature of it means that they're more valuable because most people did throw them away.
Yeah, it's like the packaging. The mint on card Star Wars figures are worth a fortune because that card and blister bubble got ripped off and thrown away. And it's one of the reasons that actually towards the end, when they were remaindering a lot of stock of the Disney Infinity, you actually bought a lot of... they were actually duplicates of what you already had and left them in the packaging because they're like a sealed for life blister package. Yeah. If you take the thing out, you've destroyed the packaging in the process. And
well, it wasn't just because it's worth something. I'm not one of those people who's actually interested in. Oh well, it'll be worth something later. That's not my thing. I'm building a museum. Part of the museum is this is what it looked like when it came out. You can't do that without a package.
Timber Surf says grease is thicker, so sticks to the gear teeth. Oil is thinner and better to seep into the small crevices of bearings and between.
You love it when they seep into small crevices. It means you don't have to take things apart to do it.
The one thing to remember though is if you use something like gun oil, the reason it's not that I'm like some kind of get off my lane sort of gun-toting, banjo-playing individual. The reason for this is because it sticks to metal parts and plastic parts and stays there.
It's almost as if
it's been designed to stay put. And it's... do you remember the old... right over there, you choking to death.
I was trying to make a comment and that stuff went down the wrong side.
Oh, I find that always happens when you've got a really scathing retort to something stupid somebody said to you. And just at the moment you're going to slap them down so hard that even their kids will be burned. You then choke on your own spit.
Yes.
But yeah, this stuff is designed to stick to the mechanism and not fling out and disappear. So actually gun oil, I think sewing machine oil is the same sort of thing, is actually a really good way of doing it. The problem with grease is some brands of grease harden with age, and you can also end up, because it's much more solid, it gets pushed aside by the gears going round, and actually it just ends up stuck to the casing and not actually on the bits that it's supposed to be greasing.
Oh, you broke it on your bits.
So my preference is sewing machine oil, gun oil. You can get something like Power Lube, I think, is basically sewing machine oil. And I think that sewing machine oil is the same stuff as what gun oil is. They give them all fancy names, but it's all the same stuff.
It's all marketing. Saying, what's this oil for?
So people are saying it's starting to snow.
Wouldn't surprise me. It was cold when I went out to get you your drink.
Interesting.
So, we're going to be starting the thingamajigs. I'm just...
Right. Oh, I think my appendix is playing up. We're not in good shape. Jerry BBR says heavy... Oh, my word. That is quite a frost out there. Yeah, we're getting... it's trying. Wow, that is cold. I thought there was there's a slight chill. I'm wearing quite a thin top here, and it's not what I'd call like super warm up here, but it's not cold either. Because if we go, you don't see my breath in the air.
You can't pretend to be a dragon yet.
No.
Did you ever do that at school? Like, I'm a dragon, look, and then you just breathe out steam. Like,
No.
no,
No.
you're not a very good dragon.
Retro Mickey 82 says it's snowing in the West Midlands. White Wall Wheels, one hardcore MOH says £89.99 from the shop when I bought them. I think that's in reference to something I'm just a rare. Yeah, the 9F. Oh, is it Murdoch? Yeah, Murdoch is like it's incredibly. Oh, is it Valley's 56XX says I think Jenny has an SMLE deactivated, of course. Oh yeah, the rifle. It's a Lee Enfield. I did actually feature it in a video one time.
She did. There's a one about you
rooting, tooting, gun toting.
That got a fair amount of views, I remember.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah, America!
America.
America!
So, our first video tonight is from Going to the Dogs, and it's a quick update on some things that he bought around Christmas time, which shows you how far behind we are on these. So here we are. Here's Going to the Dogs.
Trained kids accepted maybe they need to follow bullies and put the gears in an oil pan. It didn't work out for us. Yeah, Murdoch. Sorry, Murdoch was quite late on in the franchise, produced on the unlimited amount, so it does Matt Spencer, which is the A4. Oh, music! Zoe, music!
What? Oh, we've got to be so careful. We've got to be so careful.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, really sorry.
Yeah, you will be. So we just got to turn the volume off. Sorry about that. That's,
so sorry. Normally we would have had that done, but we were so behind, running ragged, trying to get the cameras to work.
I love that crossing. The detail on this layout is really quite impressive.
Sorry, guys.
And you can see there as well, we've got the bullhead sleepers. Code 75 rail really does look good. Apparently that was quite loud.
Guys, I'm sorry. Normally we turn the sound off. I am really sorry.
I do like a 37 in executive livery. Yeah, John JMC appears to... Yes, I'm sorry, that segment came sponsored by Billy's Replacement Speakers. And don't forget, the Billy's Replacement Speakers, aka William Loud & Sons Pedal Brick, is available to order. Rails of Sheffield.
Once said, what happened to the no sound policy? I made a mistake.
So
Guys,
he made a complete a boo-boo.
It's like pretty much everything that's gone on these days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because what you've got to remember
been
is,
harsh.
although J. Paul Anderson says probably copyright-free music. So
yes, probably, but we don't know, and then we get hit with stuff, and then we end up with issues.
So, right. It is a lovely layout. I always say...
Oh, I like the weathering.
Yeah, that bridge. It's a bridge that's not a bridge. It's a scenic feature with, as far as I can tell, nothing underneath it. And it's the one of the really, really good things that I take away from this layout is how good you can make a bridge as a scenic feature
look. At
look.
the flashes.
Without any great effort. You just use the bridge sides and supports, and it really does look good. Right, next one, please.
That was great. Thank you very much.
Big hello to David Dorrell and Delta Who. Delta Who?
What? Hey, what?
We haven't had. Call me Snake. I tell you, it's a really great name, and every time I see Call Me Snake, I just picture Snake Plissken, played by Kurt Russell in Escape from New York, with his eye patch on.
With his iPad on.
Eye patch.
His iPad.
So thank you very much, Flymuch M1, for sharing that. But yeah, Billy's Replacement Speakers taking it to 11.
To the max.
Incidentally, the running number of the wagon, nobody really has picked up on it yet. But have a look at the listing on Rails of Sheffield's website. The really high quality photos have been shared, and the running number ends in the numbers 211. 211, taking it to 11.
Jenny is so proud.
Yeah, that was.
She's so incredibly proud of this.
Oh yes, yes. Valley's 56XX says, "Love correctly spaced sleepers. I'm a sleeper counter. Oh dear. Does it make you fall asleep?
I just count sheep.
No. But if you count sleepers, does it make you fall asleep? I don't know.
Okay, we've got a link here from Phil Metcalf. Check out the Rockerhan Z Gauge model railway electric locomotives on eBay. So we'll have a look at that later on.
Yeah, we will do. There's some really nice Continental models in Z Gauge, and it's tiny. J. Paul Anderson says, Jenny, what do you find the most beautiful loco nameplates? Merchant Navy, and West Country class. And the ones that got like Battle of Britain. I think they're the West Country class, but they've got Battle of Britain squadrons. Really, really nice, quite ornate. David Scott asks, when will the PAL brick land? I'm told that they're leaving the factory in the next week. So
we should expect them soon.
End of February, beginning of March, I believe, but always a bit flexible with international shipping.
Yes, it's like, ooh.
Yeah. Jacob Furness says, Happy New Year! Happy New Year to you too. I just said it's sent on Monday the 2nd of January. We are quite behind. It says, it's good to watch the Monday Club again after being in hospital for most of December. Luckily, I got out for the big day. I'm so glad.
Yay!
And to make the video, which I didn't remember to share to everyone, it's short but sweet. Please enjoy. So let's bring that up.
And my goodness, it looks good.
DJK666 asks, who built that 45-foot model of the 4th bridge in Z gauge? I believe it was in T gauge. So,
I'm loving this.
Yeah. Oh, that's the railway. Is that the railway children?
How good does that look? Nice.
Good use of
snowy use.
Yeah, good use of cotton wool for some of the snow effects.
Yeah.
That looks like a Hornby 00. Oh, TARDIS! I spotted it.
Oh, it
nicely
disappeared
done.
there. Nice effect.
Blowing smoke rings.
Oh, I'm loving this. This is good.
A little bit of snow on the trees as well. Really make. Yeah, DJK666. It was T gauge. Merry Christmas.
That is lovely.
Oh, thank you so much for that. That is really good. So thank you for sharing that with us.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries. So we should really juice box through some of these videos because we are so far behind.
You're sofa behind. You're behind the sofa.
Big hello to the engine shed. That implies that they're late.
A Monday clubber is never late, Toto Wagons, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
Thank you.
You almost forgot to say thanks to Gandalf.
I had a gob full of Coke.
Well, that's no good.
We've
got an interesting one here.
Warbler Productions says the T-gauge 4th bridge was done by a friend of mine, Doug Kitley, a volunteer tram driver at Kirk Tramway Museum. Ooh. Hot Dog Pilot 63 says there might be snow on the roof, but there's still fire in the furnace. So this is Mark Wilson is sending us some photographs from his time machine. So a visit to Stewart's Lane Depot in the 1990s, located in the shadows of Battersea Power Station. So let's bring these up. Always good to have a look at.
Engage the retrovator.
And they're just incredible workmanship. So early 1990s, excuse me, we're getting the Class 60 in the back, the brand new, and is that a Class 33 in the foreground?
I don't know.
So we've got new and old, and look at the detail, a lot of West Hill Wagon Works detail in here.
It is really, really well done. And it's always the weathering that really picks out the stuff as well, the details.
Trains, kits, etc. says there's a great T-gauge layout of the longest timber trestle bridge in the world at a place called Orbost on the New South Wales Victoria border. Oh, interesting. I have to look that up.
Look at that. That is lovely.
Ruben Ashwell says Battersea Power Station. Yeah, for the older viewers, think Pink Floyd's Animals album cover. For newer viewers, think Tate Modern, because that's what the building then became. Oh, that's nice. And the departmental TTV being used presumably as a bunded store for waste oil, usually like sump oil and stuff. Model Railway Noob says went overboard at auctions and ended up buying 100+ wagons.
Whoa.
That's the problem with the large club layout. Small trains look naff.
Oh,
Oh, they do look good actually with the retrovator effect.
that is so nice.
And Belmont Junction, yeah,
Really
we'll see
sets
what we
off all
can
this
do.
details as well.
Oh,
babe,
that is
the
nice.
graffiti is great.
Yeah, you always wonder how on earth they actually do that without
I know.
falling off. Or do they just like hang over the edge with a rope?
No, sometimes it's a rope, but usually it's
Or do they lean over and do it upside down?
big leather strips. Goodness knows where they get them, and hooks, and then just essentially they've got a seat to sit in while they do it.
Huh.
Yeah, that is very cool. I love this here where the
Oh,
background is slightly faded out.
Rick Morley has corrected me. Tate Modern was Southwark Power Station. Ah, it's done corrected.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So we've got. I like the white window surrounds. Was that Finsbury Park that used to do that to their locos and paint the window surrounds in white? Which harks back to when they were in green livery. The window surrounds were white on all of them.
Right.
But it's a nice touch, and it's some of these subtle embellishments really are.
That
great.
really stands out there. Red.
Oh, the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, you want it to stand out. You want to be able to see it.
Charlie Chimp asks, "What's your email address?" Send them to
Zoe.robinson@gmail.com.
So is that the final one, or is that
No?
There's more.
But wait, there's more.
Haha.
These are so nice.
The lighting just makes it
And
perfect.
the faded out background, so it's covered in mist. I love that.
So don't forget to tickle that like button and share the stream as well. Let's let people know about the Monday Club that welcomes anyone and everyone. So, do we have more?
I don't feel good.
What's wrong?
Keep getting shortness of breath and tightness in my chest.
That's a panic attack. Which isn't necessarily related to being panicked. It's just called a panic attack.
Yeah, because it feels like panic.
Yeah, is that what it feels like? You get panic attacks. Just need to relax a little bit. So, next slide, please.
I might cancel my show tonight. I don't feel good at all. give me a second.
Oh,
give
so baby. Andrew Bewdley Junction says, Zoe sounds very knowledgeable about graffiti.
I'm an artist, and one of the things that I studied when I was doing some of my art qualifications was urban art, which is also known as graffiti. So the methods to do it, the styles, you can tell the different periods that graffiti comes from just by what it looks like and things like that, and the types of paints used. It's actually really, really interesting stuff. So yeah, I know a fair bit about it, but I know that our friend Jade knows a lot more. She's got the books on all this stuff, and it was very interesting.
Next slide, please.
So yeah, I know a fair amount.
Oh, nice.
This is so good.
Yeah. I'm mindful that we've got very little time and a lot of videos we need to catch through, so we're going to have to wing through these. Oh,
Can
nice.
I give this to you just to keep pressing the next
Yeah,
button
yeah,
until
yeah.
it's done?
Yeah, let's do the next slide. Let me just move these out of the way, and then I've got a bit of space.
Oh, it feels like I'll be all right. For those of you sending well wish, thank you. It's been a stressful day. We've had a lot of deadlines that came up all at once, and I've been working flat out.
And we've been messed over by computer software down to the wires. Retro Mickey 82 says, yes, please cancel your stream. So, some lovely shots. And again, there's that Finsbury Park white window surround class 33. The 73 behind in the wraparound intercity livery looks really, really nice. So a lot of detail, and that even down to the third rail track, really nicely done. And there's the 73 again with the fitter, and it's details like this. You see here the fitter working on it. It just makes it that snapshot of like a moment in time. Really, really nicely done. The weathering is really subtle, and this is a masterclass. In weathering doesn't have to make it look like it's been resprayed in dung. You know, you just need to a nice subtle dusting, and look at the effect. And there's the Stuart's Lane. Have we gone back to the beginning?
No, it'll tell you at the end.
Right.
It'll just not have.
I like that. They look like London Underground tracks. If you look, they've got 4 rails instead of 3. Really, really interesting. There's so many nice photos here. Sarah Davis says, if you're not feeling well, Zoe, you're not feeling well. I felt like death all weekend. There's a lot of stuff going around.
The
Mel's...
problem is, I felt great earlier on. I felt I was on top of everything. And then all of a sudden, things just hit. And sometimes it happens. That's the problem with being self-employed, guys.
Yeah.
If I don't do something, it doesn't get done. And unfortunately, when 5 or 6 things all need to get done at the same time, there's only one of you. It gets stressful.
Class 56 there. Class 56 grown on me. Never really liked the class. Now I do. And there's the 60 again inside. See some more of the detail in there because the 33's been pulled out. I believe the floor and the inset track like that is West Hill Wagon Works released that. And I tell you what, Mark Wilson has really, really shown a masterclass in how to really make the most of the West Hill Wagon Works products. I'll be honest, they should pay you for advertising. And that's the final one there. Really, really nice. I mean, all these little details, like with this porter cabin type thing here at the end of the shed. So good. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Could you queue up the next one?
Have you pressed? Yes, I have.
I have, yes.
Thank you for sending those in.
Thank
They
you
are
so
really
much.
nice.
David Scott says, great photos, Mark Wilson. Good to see that you include the third rail. Many modelers forget it. I must say, I have no third rail or even overhead electrics here on where it doesn't stop me running third rail electric and overhead pantograph locomotives. And Ruben Ashwell says, yeah, Mark's models are always amazing. Absolutely.
Okay, so this is Peter Jackson at Cheadle Heath.
So this is Hope under Bidinmore. Says here is a short 44 seconds of a crane tank loco on a layout. Ooh.
Yes, so this should be interesting.
As it shown at the recent Manchester Model Railway exhibition in December. I'm really interested. So it's a crane tank, but it's not one I'm familiar with.
We ready?
So yeah, okay, go.
Oh, hang on.
What,
okay, I've pressed the wrong button. Give me 1 second.
What have you pressed?
I jumped it back before it was supposed to be. Oh, I hate when it does that. YouTube, stop trying to be helpful. You're not.
Yeah, you're about as helpful as a slap in the face.
Right, go for it.
Okay, let's go. So this is a London and North Western Railway 042 crane tank, it would seem. Really interesting model. And crane tanks, it's a glaring hole in ready-to-run offerings. I would love to see crane tanks turn up. There used to be quite a thing, and then they weren't.
It's very interesting.
I mean, the LNER got crane tanks from Great Northern Railway, just made it in. J92 from the Great Eastern Railway. J77 or 78 was from the Northeastern Railway.
Is it just me, or does that look an awful lot like the locomotive is a donkey, and there's a guy on the back holding the carrot out on the crane? It's like, come on get it, come and get it.
Holding on for dear life, because it's probably a really wild ride. This is a lovely pre-grouping layout.
It really is.
Nice London and North Western Railway 042 crane tank. Trains, kits, etc. says the current options to model third rail are not great. Pico could do some work to make it way easier. Actually, yeah. I mean,
we've jumped out past the clip now, by the way.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
So is this?
Well, it's not the.
Oh, I like the little 040. That is nice. So,
what jump off, Peep?
What?
Nope, gonna jump off this, Peep.
Okay, right.
So jump back.
Thank you so much. James
That was
Pett
great.
says
Thank
this
you so
layout
much.
is impressive.
It really is.
Fine tail. I don't know.
It does look quite.
It looks really nice. So let's.
Oh my goodness, the amount of stuff we still got.
We're gonna have to have a catch up, like a model rail exhibition. Maybe do an hour next week of people's videos.
That'd be nice.
Okay, we'll do that next week. We're gonna do a full hour because we're so far behind. James says Z21 system is a great DCC system. Be interesting to see if the Hornby systems works with all locos and not just Hornby stuff. I believe it will. There's like a legacy control dongle, and it will do. Going back to our topic about Bluetooth being the future, I think it very much is certainly a paradigm shift development in DCC control. We may not stick with Bluetooth in the future, but I think that this is definitely the right direction for the hobby. I think it's really good. Every modeler that I've talked to almost entirely thinks it's a great idea. It's
Almost
only
entirely. Who's the holdout?
Can I just say?
Let me at him.
Oh, I saw this at it was either Getz or Worley. We videoed this before. I remember the bus.
That is so cool.
And I have to say that this is a lovely layout, and I do have to say that I love the trees and the bushes, the lighting, everything about this really nice. But I think the people who poo-poo Bluetooth are the same people who, by and large, oh look, it's Bertie the bus. By and large, the same people who poo-poo DCC in the first place.
Well, there's always going to be someone who's resistant to change.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them. If you've invested...
Normally it's me, I must admit.
Yeah,
normally it's me.
I remember you talking about DC and DCC.
John JMC says, not talk to me. Okay, John JMC, how are you doing? What are your thoughts? Oh, yeah, I've talked to you now. No, seriously, what are your thoughts?
This is lovely.
I think we're still in the Wild West stage. And we had a little bit of this.
Oh, it would be so funny if there was a Wild West logo or layout in this, because this is all about.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just this Ballyconnor Road at this one road thing.
Yeah, Ben Tullett says rail bus, which is actually a bus. So is that the bus replacement train? But no. So John JMC, I know you're laughing your bottom off there, but. What do you think about it? Is Bluetooth the future? But certainly, I'm normally the last holdout. I was slow to go to embrace DCC. I didn't see it as being for me, but then it was.
All of a sudden, it was. Yes.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. There's always going to be someone who's a holdout.
The thing that I found was that the killer app, so to speak, was sound for me. Really liked some of the sound. But ironically, I don't run my trains with sound. I found it very boring. And actually, once I got into DCC, I found other benefits of DCC that really, really... I thought I would have missed out on all of this because I didn't think it was good. Like the lighting functions, multiple trains on the same tracks. Wangok says, time to go now. See you all again soon. You take care.
Thanks for coming along.
James says, Jennifer, I love your videos. I'm about to get my first Cobalt DCC point motor. They are actually great. Now, I don't actually use them here on Weir Yard because it was built before I discovered them. But I do use the DCC Concepts ADS units to control what are actually Pico point motors. But if I was starting again from scratch, I would probably go for the Cobalt DCC point motors. I do actually have one hung up there. It's been up there for well over a year.
This one?
Yeah, I keep meaning to actually build a project where I use it.
Yeah, you talk a big game about this stuff.
Cobalt IP. I do actually have one. I just keep meaning to use it. But what I love about these is that they have so many terminals on, and you don't need to do any soldering or anything.
Oh, this is interesting.
So it will automatically deal with the frog polarity. And then you've got another switch, so you can switch something like
Jen, look at those trees. They're amazing.
Oh, they are nice. This is a lovely layout.
Yeah, this is Charlie McGowan, and it's very, very good.
Nice size on this layout.
I like the detail on his housing roofs as well.
Yeah.
Makes them look like they're weathered, very old. This is very I like it. The trees coming out the back.
Yeah,
it's an interesting
and
part of the
it's
back
one
scene.
of the things that trees are quite big, and it's nice to see on this layout. Trees actually modelled a proper size. It's one of the things I had a discussion with the guy from Primo Trees, and we did a video. Do go and check it out if you haven't seen it. It's such excellent products. But yeah, it's something that's commonly overlooked by modelers, is the size of trees in real life. Trees are huge.
I'll agree with you there, Ian. The train DCC is easier for wiring.
Absolutely. But in terms of, we're getting back to like whether the systems will talk to each other. The standard DCC side is all compatible because they will act like a normal DCC chip if you use them in that way. The Bluetooth side of it, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Whoa, look how busy that is. That is cool. I
but
like that.
I would like to think that there would be a standard that manufacturers would kind of try and adhere to. But I remember the bad old days of DCC when it first turned up, and there were a lot of manufacturers who thought they were too cool for school and didn't actually adhere to the standards. And now,
Richard,
where are they? A lot of those decoder manufacturers fell by the wayside
because they didn't
because
play
their
by the
products
rules.
were rubbish.
If they're
because they didn't
incompatible,
work
you don't want them.
Yeah.
Why would you invest in something that can't work with anything else? Richard Swiderski, don't worry, I got the links you sent.
Thank you very much, Flymo Chairman 1. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that link. David, it's my mother always says, as the TXS decoders are only £5 to £10 dearer than a TTS one, then I will certainly be giving them a try, even though I don't use Bluetooth control straight away. Absolutely, and it's a bit like DCC. I did buy some DCC fitted locos second hand, but they would still work on DC. And the beauty of the Bluetooth system is it's possible to make use of that Bluetooth and likewise the benefits of DCC without actually having a DCC system. And yes, James Petts, absolutely. A universal compatibility is very important, I agree. John JMC says, well, take your DCC decoder and give it another connection protocol. I like the change sound via Bluetooth. Does me out of a reblow. Will be interesting take. Let's wait and see. I'm quite excited by it.
Let's wait and see is the watchword. This is really nice. I'm liking this.
When they were announced, for me, it was the Simon Kohler, you absolute genius, man.
I heard that. You shouted it.
Yeah.
You woke me up. I was trying to have a lie in after I'd had a late night working on stuff, and then you woke me up.
This sounds to me like a you problem, not a me problem.
All I heard was all of a sudden I'm jumping out of bed because she's shouting, Simon Cowler, you genius.
Trains, kits, etc. says, used to climb trees to cut them down. Can confirm trees are big.
Trees is big, yo.
Yeah.
That was lovely. Thank you for saying that.
Naive Gauge says, not being compatible will make you the Apple of the DCC world. Although, ironically, its Apple phones are much easier to deal with for the app, which is one of the reasons. If anybody's wondering why Android is not taken care of, I do have the answer on this. Didn't get it from Hornby. I actually got this from Soundtracks. And what George Bogota at Soundtracks, big up to George and the Soundtracks posse, is that when you code the app, iOS for your Apple phones, it's like one set of software.
Yes.
And all of them, they're all covered. They all use the same protocols. Everything just works. So it's really, really simple. When it comes to Android, when you go to the App Store and download an app onto your Android, what it doesn't tell you is it's predetermined which version of the Android operating system you've got and gives you the correct version of the app. So you never see that behind the scenes, there's somewhere in the region of about 12 to 14 different Android operating systems. And what that means is it's really easy to launch an app with iPhone compatibility. You can basically cover half to 2/3 of the market with one set of software. So, of course, you're going to concentrate on that.
Absolutely. Well, why wouldn't you?
You then have to spend a lot of time and a lot of BS messing about to make those 12, 14 different versions of Android's OS to actually make all of them work. So on the screen at the moment,
this is Donkett's Model Railway talking about how he's made a lift-out bridge. Now, I've put the link onto the chat because this has got talking in it, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, the MDF laser cut kit, these do look really good, and certainly my personal preference with the bridge kits would be to spray paint them up before the track goes down, or at least actually, I suppose you could actually glue the track down spray paint it up, clean the track surfaces then, and this is nice. So using copper-clad sleepers for added strength, always a must on a lift-out section. I'm looking at the track that's on the bridge itself. I really do like that. Yeah, Mel's awesome bridge.
Yeah.
Mm.
It really is. This is
Raymond
quite in
Legs.
depth. Guys, I really recommend getting in there and having a look at this because
This is nice.
I've put the link in. You're going to need to use that.
A nice masterclass on soldering, and soldering isn't difficult.
It's not witchcraft, but it is
cleanliness. Cleanliness,
please tell me
methodical.
it shows us at the end where it's yes.
So there we go.
Here we go. So final bits, making sure everything's fine.
Oh, so this is, of course, to make sure the tracks line up. You lay the track straight across,
And then
do the soldering, then cut the joins, and then everything remains perfectly lined up. That is actually a really good tip.
That is a fantastic idea.
Oh, I do like this.
Yeah, and it's just going over them all.
I like the bridge. I look at Weir Yard, and it annoys me that this is now taking up the space that I would be happily building this kind of quality layout.
Jen, you're not ripping this out, are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh
that is a
my
lovely
goodness.
bridge. I've seen
Jen,
the
what is
kits
your plan for this year with regard to layouts and dioramas?
I'm hoping to make a self-contained exhibition layout with an American outline in HO. So watch this space. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. I really like that switchback system that DCC Concepts built for their big display stand. And I quite like the idea of like a logging switchback layout in quite a small space. So you would have the switches going...
That was
like,
wonderful, thank you.
But actually automate it using the ABC system. So I might speak to DCC Concepts about exactly how they set theirs up to do that. Although the Shays from KR Models, which I would be most likely doing it with, they were going to be coming fitted with Soundtrax sound decoders. So I probably need to speak to George Bogatar about what the Soundtrax decoders actually are compatible with, and then it may be John JMC might be over to you at Digitrains to get the needed hardware to make all that work. James says, "Oh, Code 83. What is it like to work with? I heard the finer the scale, the harder it is to get trains to run if older. Is that right?" I don't know, to be honest with you.
It's just me. I'm sorting.
Oh, and so if you're seeing things changing,
You're not, because they're not seeing it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Ben Tullett says, "Jenny, get the garden railway done." Yes, actually, thank you for reminding me. Garden railway. Good to see the O-gauge locos you bought running on it. You're absolutely right. Actually, the garden railway should come first. Maybe that's the what I will do first, because it does need doing. I need to get a tree surgeon in to chop down a big conifer tree, which is causing huge issues. Once that's gone, I can then redevelop the garden railway. In parallel, it might be nice to do the HO thing, so we can mix and match between the two. I want to take my time, and I know that I kind of get known as the queen of speed modelling, because I'm like bish bash bosh, bish bash bosh. And actually, I want to take my time and do a little bit more talking and more focused episodes, so watch this space. Tony's NWR says, "Any updates on the traction engine?" My father has sold up everything. He sold his traction engine, and he's sold the complete contents of his workshop. In fact, even as we speak, his lathe went out to a factory in Romania and is being used to make stuff in Romania, which is tantamount to how good a Colchester student lathe is. But they picked it up. There's 3 Romanian lads rocked up in a transit van, Mercedes Sprinter. They delivered something into the UK and then been asked to pick up this lathe to take back. So it was very convenient for them. And it was, my dad said, it was a masterclass in the use of levers and rollers. That three big blokes just got this in the back of a full lathe in the back of a Mercedes Sprinter, and away they went.
So, Jan, We are
John
coming
James.
to the end, so do we have a sponsor today?
Yes, we do.
The Monday Club comes in association with Roca Prototype Models, where detail, accuracy and value for money go hand in hand. With their debut model of SafePack auto racks wowing model railroaders alike, now is your chance to order these in road names and configurations to accurately reproduce auto rack workings from 1974 to the present day on your model railroad. Order today from rocamodels.com and see the full range for yourself.
There we go.
Absolutely. So, Tony's NWR says, such a shame. That was such a beautiful traction engine.
Can't
It's
be
gone
helped.
to a good home. It will be seen on the rally circuit in the UK, most likely.
Someone's going to rally car it.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's not gone away. It's just my father is downsizing. He's getting old. He's got health issues a little bit. I'll get wronged for calling him old, but
Right.
sorry, Dad,
You'll
are.
get wrong.
Yeah. But they're downsizing, and he really, really wants to just get on with the model engineering. He's building a lanky tank. He's going to get like one of these smaller Proxon lathes to do that. Just more manageable. Warbler Production says, try to make sure you use SM32 track on your garden railway, and I could bring my K1 and Alco to run on it and give you the experience of remote control live steam. Certainly with the points, SM32, I wouldn't want to junk all my O-gauge track because I spent a lot of money on it. John JMC says, no. Is that about the traction engine, or is that about me asking it for your advice on getting soundtracks decoders to do the shuttling thing?
Guys, I'm sorry to say, we are now past 9 o'clock.
Oh, we are past 9. Oh, God, yeah, we are. Sorry, I didn't realise. So, just got time for me to say thank you all very much for coming. With regard to the topic of today about Bluetooth decoders, is this the future of DCC? Personally, I think this is a really, really interesting development. I think that we're going to see this is a paradigm shift. As long as a common standard can be agreed, I think this is the way ahead for DCC. I think it will also entice a lot of the holdouts into DCC in a really cost-effective way. Certain killer apps for me are the wireless touchscreen control, compatibility with standard DCC, legacy DCC, and being able to just update over and over again the sound files on your decoder. But until next time, it's me, Jenny Kirk, saying don't forget to tickle the like button, share the stream, and also subscribe if you're not already done so. And do check out our sponsor, Roca Models, and also we've got Roca Models. I get wronged. I always get wronged. And don't forget as well that the Monday Club wagon is still available to order, but we are down to the final.
Richard Swiderski says, thought you said your dad was building a Lancaster bomber.
Yeah. Yes, he likes going. He likes his trips overseas, but he doesn't stop. Yeah, don't forget as well the Monday Club wagon still available to order, but we're down to less than a third remaining. I think it may even be a quarter. They are selling quite quick now that the pictures have arrived. So you guys take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now.
The train now departing is the 2112 service to Grove Street Yard, stopping at Bolton Trinity Road. That other layout that Jen made one time that we showed in one video and then never talked about again. The other one that we did in one video and never talked about again. Over to, what's the other one? Minith Tatis, that's the other one. Down to Tatis Newark, over to Eindhoven because we got lost, and then on to Grove Street Yard. That's the 2112 service to Grove Street Yard. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Good night.
Take care, everyone. Good night.
I'm gonna pop off and cancel my show. I'll leave you to do your little play
Okay.
at the end for a bit. Because people did ask.
I know, and I'm giving. Come on, you. I'm just adjusting your viewing angle. There we go. That's a bit better. Everybody at home's going, no, earthquake!
Good night, everyone.
Good night.